Thank you. Attorney Thompson, timing-wise, do you want to call another witness at this time?
I had one on the way. I'm not sure if she is in the hallway right now. Otherwise, oh, she is now.
Let's call the witness, and we'll go till, I don't want to go all the way till 5 because it's been a long day, but let's take some testimony as long as our witness is available.
Thank you. The state calls Detective Jessica Behrendt. Thank you.
Detective, you may come up to the witness stand. When you get up here, please remain standing and raise your right hand to be sworn by our clerk.
Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give in this matter before the court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, you may be seated. Position yourself nice and close to that microphone there, and when you are ready, start by stating your name, spelling your first and last for the record.
Detective Jessica Behrendt, Jessica Behrendt.
Detective Behrendt, how are you employed?
I'm a detective with the City of Waukesha Police Department.
Mr. Lychwick, these are the physical copies of the receipts that Detective Behrendt will be testifying to. So I'll let you go through those while.
Thank you. And how long have you been employed with the City of Waukesha Police Department?
Over 19 years.
And do you have a particular area or type of crime that you investigate?
I'm considered a general crimes detective, and I specialize with frauds, domestics, stalkings, death investigations, things like that.
Have you ever assisted on a death investigation?
Yes.
And do you know approximately how many times in your career you have?
I would have no idea. There's been a lot.
Okay. Now, when you are investigating a death, whether it is suspicious or a homicide or something else, is it uncommon for the police department to take kind of an all-hands-on-deck approach?
An all-hands-on-deck approach would be a very serious case that we work. Typically, you could have 1 or 2 people helping you out on a case at a given time. In this investigation, it was all hands on deck.
And why was it all hands on deck for this one?
Because it was clearly the manner in which we discovered the body was clearly a homicide, given the bounds and the wrap that the body was covered in. It's evident that someone did this to an individual. So we knew we were looking at a homicide. We just didn't know at that point initially who or when or how. So we wanted to quickly kind of address all different areas, and we needed a lot of resources for that. We know that based on the level of the severely decompositioned body that we were already behind in our investigation, so we needed as many resources as possible to try and catch up.
Now, when we are talking about this investigation, we're talking about the remains that were found at 1512 East North Street here in the city of Waukesha. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And were you one of the detectives that responded to the scene that night on October 30th?
Yes.
What was your role when you arrived on scene?
So I assisted Detective Stern. I was there to canvass the area for witnesses and statements and things like that. I was also there to check apartments, other apartments. I checked apartments' histories to see what kind of calls for service we had over the last 6, 8, 10 months, whatever it was that we were looking at the time. And then also just to conduct any follow-up that was needed afterwards.
You talked about looking into potential missing persons, correct?
Yes.
And are you familiar with the term premise history?
Yes.
What would that be?
So in our system that we used for our reports, and every single call for service generates an address, and that address holds a history. We call that a premise history. So I looked at the premise history for this apartment complex, and I noted that in, I believe it was May 21st of 2024, that Talisa Maldonado called in her dad, Carlos Maldonado, missing. And so we didn't know who the body was, so we were looking at different facets of the investigation. First of all, where is Carlos and is he okay? And also, who is this body? We didn't know that the two were related at the time. So I was looking at premise history and also other missing persons cases in the city of Waukesha and even outside of the city.
When you're talking about looking outside of the city, would that be within Waukesha County?
So there is a federal database for missing persons, and we were even considering looking into that before we had identification.
Did you ever expand the scope that far into the federal database, or were you able to focus in on Carlos Maldonado in your investigation?
In my investigation, I focused on Carlos.
Okay. And was law enforcement subsequently notified of an identification of the remains that were found as Carlos Maldonado?
Yes.
So now you know who this individual is or was, and now you start working on figuring out how this person died. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah.
And did there come a time in this investigation where law enforcement had identified an individual by the name of Kevin Lychwick as a suspect in the death of Carlos Maldonado?
Yes.
Okay. Now, once that information is learned by law enforcement, did you review a report or a CAD summary regarding a traffic stop conducted on Mr. Lychwick in mid-May of 2024?
I did. It was May 23rd of 2024.
And in reviewing, I'm sorry, I'll back up a little bit. Do your patrol officers in the City of Waukesha Police Department wear body cams?
Yes, they do.
And were you able to review a video of that traffic stop on Mr. Lychwick from May 23rd of 2024?
Yes.
Did you notice what color hair Mr. Lychwick had during that traffic stop?
It was gray.
Did there come a time in this investigation where you had in-person contact with Mr. Lychwick?
Yes.
Do you recall the approximate date that happened?
I believe it was the end of November, May 29th, possibly.
What color hair did he have at that time when you met him at the end of November in person?
It was jet black.
Now, I'm backing up a little bit to after this traffic stop, but now back to this investigation into Mr. Lychwick as the possible suspect that killed Mr. Maldonado, okay?
Okay.
On or about November 19th of 2024, were you in charge of organizing a cadaver-dog search of the property at 1512 East North?
Yes, I was.
Prior to that, had you been the one to reach out to the handler of that canine?
Yeah, so I learned that we had a resource in Wisconsin that was Canine Search Company, and Karen Corcoran is the owner of that company, who owns a dog named Moxie, who was available and willing to come out to do a cadaver search at the property.
Prior to that search occurring, did you conduct any kind of premise history of the apartment complex on North Street, specifically related to deaths on the property?
Yes, I did.
Why did you do that?
Because Karen, the owner of the dog, had informed me that the dog may hit on areas where there is previous death investigations, even if it has been some time. So I wanted to look at the premise history of that apartment complex to check any death investigations or deaths that were reported, or any significant exchanges of bodily fluid. For example, there was a stabbing there in 2017 in the driveway and the common hallway in the downstairs portion. So we wanted to make sure that the dog wasn't going to hit on something that would adversely affect the results of the canine.
And so part of this premise history from your end is trying to protect the integrity of any subsequent search or alert by this dog. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And when you looked at that premise history, I know you just referenced the stabbing. Were there other deaths reported at this premises or at this apartment complex?
Yes, there were death investigations in apartment 3, 5, 1, 12, and 14, I believe. And then the most recent was in February of 2024. That was apartment 3. So that is on the lower floor, and it's quite a distance away from apartment 13, which was Carlos's apartment.
And the deaths of the residents related to those apartment numbers, did they, aside from the stabbing in the driveway, were those individuals found deceased inside of their apartments?
Yes, they were.
We'll talk later, the jury will hear later from Ms. Corcoran, but moving on then to, or kind of through your parts of this investigation, because is it fair to say you were not involved in every single step of the investigation?
Correct.
Okay. There were times where you would come back to assist while also maybe working on some of your other cases that you had ongoing.
Correct.
Did there come a time then where you assisted on a residential search warrant that was executed on Mr. Lychwick's apartment at 1512 East North?
Yes.
And that occurred on November 26th of 2024. Is that correct?
Yes.
Would that also have been the first time that you met Mr. Lychwick in person?
Yes.
Were you part of the search inside Mr. Lychwick's apartment?
No.
Where were you during that search of his apartment?
There is a common area on the second floor, and Mr. Lychwick and Detective Stern and I were in that common area.
And is it fair to say that there was a significant amount of paperwork and documents that were located in Mr. Lychwick's apartment?
Yes.
And were those documents and papers brought back to the City of Waukesha Police Department for further analysis?
Yes, they were.
Did you assist in reviewing any portion of those documents?
Yes.
What area or what topic of documents did you review as it relates to Mr. Lychwick's spending habits?
So Mr. Lychwick had all of his monthly statements and receipts for spending, as well as he could keep track of them, folded up every month. So I had January through October of 2024 in all his financials, including his bank statements and receipts of purchases from stores and gas stations and things like that he spent his money on throughout those months.
And I'm sorry, I might just ask you to slow down just a little bit. You kind of picked up at the end there. Now, these receipts that you had found, were they for stores located here in the city of Waukesha?
Yes, they were.
And were there certain receipts that you notated in your report that had evidentiary value as it related to the timeline of Mr. Maldonado's death?
Yes, I noticed that his spending has increased in certain months. Specifically, the receipts that I had looked at, you could see from Woodman's, Dollar Tree, Walmart, things like that. They included a lot of cleaning supplies, an excess of cleaning supplies, what I would say. Typically, when someone shops somewhere, they have if they go to a dollar store, they have one that they prefer, whether it's close to their home or work or things like that. Mr. Lychwick was going to multiple dollar stores, multiple Walmarts, and even in the same day, within a few hours, to purchase things such as rubber gloves, bleach, what I would consider an excessive supply of salt, flyaway spray, air fresheners, candles, things like that.
Detective Behrendt, Your Honor, this is the one physical exhibit with Detective Behrendt. I would ask permission to approach the witness.
You may. What exhibit number will this be?
This will be exhibit number 140. It is an envelope containing the receipts that Detective Behrendt just discussed. And I have shown a copy of these to Mr. Lychwick. I provided them to him for review as Detective Behrendt started testifying.
Okay, you may approach with witness.
Okay, Detective Behrendt, I'm showing you what's marked as State's Exhibit number 140. Can you go through those, flip through them, and let me know when you're finished?
Okay, I'm finished.
Exhibit 140, are those some of the receipts that you discussed reviewing back at the police department that were taken from Mr. Lychwick's apartment?
Yes.
And before I keep going, do you see the individual whose apartment was searched, Kevin Lychwick? Do you see him in court today?
Yes, I do.
Can you please identify him by where he is seated and article of clothing he's wearing?
He's seated right there with the gray suit on and gray hair and glasses.
I would ask the record to reflect the identification of the defendant by this witness.
All right, the jury will make that determination.
Thank you. Now, I'd like to focus on a particular timeline of these receipts. Were you made aware during your investigation that Mr. Maldonado's date of death was determined to be April 14th of 2024?
Yes.
And so if we focus on the receipts that you reviewed after that date, those would be included in the receipts you have in front of you, is that correct?
Yes.
Starting with April 15th of 2024, the day after Mr. Maldonado's death, there was a purchase by Mr. Lychwick at Dollar Tree on Sunset Drive in Waukesha. Do you see that receipt?
Yes, I do.
And what can you tell was the item purchased during that visit?
It's abbreviated, but it's long cuff gloved, a box size large.
Okay. Now, is there a receipt from the Dollar Tree there with you on or about the same date where he purchased Scrub Buddies heavy duty scoring pads 4 count?
I have one from the Dollar Tree. Looks like the 29th. The receipt is a little faded at 18-16 hours. There would be another box of size large gloves, masking tape that was a concern, multiple candles, dish soap again, Febreze, more air spray.
Is that the Dollar Tree located at 1230 West Sunset Drive in Waukesha from April 29th?
Yes.
Okay. Is the time of that transaction at 18:16?
Yes, it is.
And would that be 6:16 p.m.?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything on there about Greenbrier Kennel Club XL heavy duty pet training pads?
Yep, it says training pad XL on there.
And were you aware of, or during your preparations or your briefing for the search warrant on Mr. Lychwick's residence, were law enforcement officers aware if Mr. Lychwick had any pets?
We believe that he did not.
And were any pets observed in the apartment during the search?
No.
I am next looking at a receipt from the Walmart location in Pewaukee from April 28th of 2024. Do you have that receipt in front of you?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and on that date, is this receipt timed at 21:48?
Yes.
And that would be 9:48 p.m.?
Yes.
What are the purchases made at the Walmart in Pewaukee on that date and time?
So there's some just regular purchases like toilet paper, vitamin D, but the thing that was a concern to me was the large latex gloves.
On April 28th, 2024, is there a separate Walmart receipt for a Waukesha location?
Yeah, so this was the purchase that I was talking to, 2 different Walmart locations within the same date and a very close time frame. This one's at 22:33 hours.
Which is at 10:33 p.m.?
Yes.
And what purchases were made at the Walmart in Waukesha at that time?
The item of concern on here is the trash bags.
Okay. Can you describe for me how many gallons were those trash bags?
It doesn't say on here, but Walmart has a way you can look up receipts and then subsequently look at the exact visual items that were purchased. And so I looked that up, and I believe they were 30-gallon. They were large bags.
Now, is there a receipt there from April 29th of 2024 at the Walmart in Pewaukee?
Yes.
And is that timed at 19:12?
Yes.
Is that 7:12 p.m.?
Yes, it is.
What items are purchased on that date and time?
Size medium and size large gloves, as well as some regular household items, it looks like.
In looking at a Dollar Tree receipt from May 7th of 2024 from the 120 East Sunset Drive location in Waukesha, do you see that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and is the time of that transaction 18:12?
Yes.
Is that 6:12 p.m.?
Yes, it is.
What was purchased at that time?
64 ounces of bleach.
On May 13th of 2024, is there a Woodman's receipt that you recovered?
So I made a mistake in my report. It is not May 13th. This one is June 13th. I mistyped it in the report.
Okay. Is it from Woodman's?
It is. It's the same time, 6:53 p.m.
Okay, that was my next question. Did it say 18:53, but you said that's 6:53 p.m.?
Yes.
And what was purchased at that time?
So Woodman's, one of the issues that I had with the financials of Lychwick, if you don't mind me backing up for a second, his May bank statement was not included. It was just a printout that he had of some things, and I could see that he went to Woodman's several times. So I asked Woodman's to provide copies of the receipts from the store. So that's why these receipts are a bit different. And he did purchase quite a few regular household items, food, things like that. The items of concern for me on this receipt is 3 separate purchases of iodized salt. It's 26 ounces each, so 78 ounces of salt, which is it's just shy of 5 pounds of salt, which I felt was excessive for an individual who lives alone. A 70-ounce bottle of blue dish soap and a 30-ounce bottle of white tea antibacterial soap. And the rest, like I said, is just regular household items or groceries.
Was there a purchase you noted on May 16th of 2024 at Woodman's at a transaction time of 10:10?
Yes.
And what, if anything, caught your attention on that particular purchase?
Tide Hygienic Clean Free Liquid, 146 ounces, which I thought was a lot. for one person. Hefty, multi-purpose, strong trash bags, 56 count. Simply Done heavy-duty scouring pads, 3 count. And 2 pounds total of Food Club baking soda.
On the last one I'm looking at here, on May 16th of 2024, was there a Walmart receipt from the Waukesha location for a transaction time of 12:58 p.m.?
Yes, there is.
And what was purchased then?
30-gallon trash bags.
In reviewing the totality of the either receipts or other financial records from Mr. Lychwick's apartment, did you notice any change in the pattern of purchases as it specifically relates to garbage bags on or about the time that Mr. Maldonado was killed and after?
Yes, so according to the bank statements and receipts and things that I looked over, there seemed to be an excessive amount of purchases regarding cleaning supplies and trash bags and things like that in April, May, and June.
With these trash bags, were you able to note whether they were clear or white or black?
A lot of them were black.
I'm skipping ahead a little bit as the jurors will hear from other witnesses kind of in between, but did there come a time where Mr. Lychwick was arrested?
Yes.
Okay,
And-
Attorney Thompson, I'm going to stop here in the interest of time. I don't want to stop mid-witness, but we've been going all day here. So it's 4:45, ladies and gentlemen. I think we're going to take a break for the evening at this point. Unless, Attorney Thompson, you were on the verge of finishing.
This was my last topic.
Okay. Then let's continue. We'll go
Okay.
just a few more minutes. I'll certainly allow Mr. Lychwick a chance to examine too, but go ahead then.
Thank you. I'm sorry, No, I know. Sorry. Thank you. You just indicated that Mr. Lychwick had been arrested at the conclusion of this investigation. Is that correct?
Yes.
And was he brought back to the City of Waukesha Police Department?
Yes.
Was he in an interview room with Detective Stern when you entered the room?
Yes.
And did you tell, or what was your reason for going in the room?
I was assisting in the interview, and I also obtained buccal swabs from a DNA warrant that we obtained for Mr. Lychwick.
And you were the one then personally who would have taken those swabs from that buccal kit and swabbed the inside of Mr. Lychwick's mouth?
Yes.
Once you executed that warrant for his buccal swabs, what did you do with those swabs then?
So those swabs, I used gloves and they remained in my custody until I was able to place them on our inventory, which is a secured location that's locked. And then that's essentially sent to the crime lab through our specialists.
Okay. Yeah. I do not have any other questions for Detective Behrendt. Thank you.
Attorney Thompson, are you moving Exhibit 140 into evidence?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Okay, any objection to that, Mr. Lychwick?
Yes, I do have objections to that, Your Honor.
Okay, what is your objection?
Those are general receipts from my everyday life. They have nothing to do with the murder of this poor man.
Okay, so your objection is relevance?
Relevance.
All right. I think based upon the testimony of the witness, I'll overrule that objection. The state can draw inferences from the evidence. You can draw inferences from the evidence. But on a relevance ground, I'm overruling that objection. So Exhibit 140 will come into evidence. Do you have cross-examination, Mr. Lychwick?
Yes, I do.
All right, go ahead.
Detective Behrendt, is it against the law for a man to dye his hair?
No.
So why are you making an issue out of the fact that during a traffic stop earlier in the year of 2024, my hair was gray, I hadn't had a chance to dye it. And then when I met you during your investigation of this poor man's death, my hair was jet black because my girlfriend liked my hair black.
Mr.
Why
Lychwick,
was that an issue with you?
Mr. Lychwick, the witness was answering a question posed by the state's attorney. The question was asked, the witness answered. That's the reason for that answer. So you can ask another question.
Your Honor, she also made an issue out of it in her police report.
Okay, well, ask your next question, Mr. Lychwick.
So then you seem to indicate that I'm buying a lot of certain materials, but yet you find that suspicious because I live alone. You don't know what I'm doing all of my time, and if I'm alone or not. I have a love life as well, Detective. And you're well aware of that too, because we discussed my girlfriend at one point. So why you're leading the jury on to believe that I'm living alone and buying pounds of salt that I don't need and things like this? It's just an exaggeration, which is quite a habit with you and Detective Stern during this investigation into my private life and trying to link me to this crime.
All right, Mr. Lychwick, you have to ask questions. You cannot testify, and you can't editorialize either. So if you have a question for this witness, now is your time to ask it.
Why would you think, why would you assume that I'm living alone, and, why would you insinuate that I'm buying all these materials for my private life and that they have something to do with something they do not, the death of this poor man?
Can you restate that question? I didn't understand what you're asking in that. It was a little long-winded.
How can you come to the conclusion that I'm living alone all the time when you don't personally know me? And how can you make assumptions as to what I'm buying is in association with my private life?
Okay, so to answer your question about how can I assume that you live alone, you told me. And I am just making observations based on the receipts and purchases that coincide with some of the items that we located on Carlos Maldonado's body.
But Detective, I told you I don't live alone all the time. I had at that time a love life, and I was seeing somebody else as I was breaking off my relationship with the woman we discussed. I was already starting another relationship with another woman. I was not all the time living alone.
Okay, Mr. Lychwick, I'm going to instruct the jury to disregard any potential testimony of Mr. Lychwick at this time. Mr. Lychwick, you have to ask a question. You cannot testify at this time. So ask a question, make a statement in the form of a question for this witness to answer.
How could you come to the conclusion that I'm living alone all the time when you don't know me personally and you're not there all the time to see what I'm doing, Detective?
Like I stated before, you told me that you were living alone and that your girlfriend lived out of state. She did not live with you. There was nothing in the residence to indicate anybody, let alone a female, was living inside the residence.
Okay, Detective, but how do you know how much time we spent together?
I do not.
That's correct. My personal habits and what I buy, I mean, there again, you don't know me personally, do you?
No.
So how could you assume that whatever I'm buying is out of character, out of order for somebody to buy, particularly what I bought?
Can you restate the question?
Sure.
How can I assume?
How could you attach such significance as to connect what my personal habits are and my personal tastes are with your investigation?
Because about 4.875 pounds of salt for a man that lives alone seemed excessive to me, especially when during the course of the search warrant we did not find an excessive amount of salt. These are just observations I made that may or may not be connected to this case.
They're just observations that you made.
Correct.
I have no further questions for this witness at this time.
Okay, thank you. Any redirect?
No.
Okay, Detective, you may step down. I'll take Exhibit 140.
Thank you.
All right, now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to break for the day. So a couple things. I recognize that we've had a long day today. and I appreciate your patience and your attention throughout the day. This case is not ready for you to decide. It's not ready for even preliminary deliberations to take place. So when you go home tonight, don't discuss this case with loved ones. Don't talk about what you heard. Don't ask them what they heard about this case, if anything. If you come across any news reports or any stories about this on social media or the news, please turn it off or close your web browser or whatever you need to do to avoid reading or seeing anything about this case. Ultimately, you will have to decide this case based only upon what you hear in court and what I have allowed you to hear as evidence in this case. So also please don't discuss this case with each other and don't start deliberations. Aside from that, get some rest tonight, and we will see you at 8:30 tomorrow morning. We'll resume the testimony at that time. Thank you.
All rise.
All right, you may be seated. We are outside the presence of the jury at this time. I want to go over the exhibits that we've had referenced so far. By my count, we've had 1 through 65, including 1A, 1B, 28A, 34A, 41A, 59